Hi guys! Kumusta kayo? Sino yung guest natin tonight?
Our Mr. Guest. First guest.
Hi, I'm Krizel, also known as Krizel. I consider myself as a lifelong volunteer, and I have had a stint of volunteerism at Mabuhay Temple under the Three Acts of Goodness project. I also became member of YAD. Actually, that's my first membership when I stepped on the temple.
So, what's your background? I mean, career-wise?
I work for a corporate foundation. That corporate foundation, it's still very in line with what my passion is, which is to help not only to make a donation but also to make a difference.
Since we will be discussing the second part of the Eightfold Path, so we're quite sure that you have like a deep background of Buddhism. So how did you start your journey in Buddhism? Give us lang like
Review.
a few sentences. Five.
Habang
500 words.
basta sabi ko kung kailan mag-period. Okay, background in Buddhism, no? I am one of those curious persons who went to the temple and say, hey, what does Buddhism really look like? And what do they really teach about? Because I only learned about it philosophically. When I came in at the temple, I didn't know what the five precepts. And so I was really struggling with the basics like wearing my hyjing, my mani. I didn't even realize na it was the easiest part. After all, wearing all of that is the easiest part. It's really the practice that is quite a struggle. Practicing the five precepts, ensuring that you are within that five precept parameters. And again, being a newbie, I've looked at it as a guide, a rule even those are my rules in life. So I said to myself, from now on, yun lang yung rules ko. That's basically how I got into Buddhism and the temple. I'm still learning at this. We still learn. We still try to practice, and trying to practice is even a challenge.
Since you mentioned yung five precepts, we have a hanging question regarding one of the five precepts. Do you want to tell the story?
Okay. So, there was this friend. This friend, he was asking, sabi niya, Scott, I got an offer. Parang short film, okay, but the role is medyo raunchy, as he explained. So, medyo may mga scenes, di ba? Which is normal sa mga love movies. He already took the five precepts, of course. So, if eto, would it still be considered violating the sexual misconduct? So, ito yung question niya. It's a valid question. So, ako naman, sabi ko, sige, I'll help you ask. Nag-ask ako sa one of the masters. Sabi sa akin, no, Scott, just tell your friend na, parang ibalik ko lang yung question sa kanya. What he thinks about it. If he thinks that these things is considered sexual misconduct for him. Kasi at the end of the day, it's only that person who will know what is really his intention. Am I doing this because of what? My greediness to be known? Because of money? Because of lust? We never know. So the Venerable said that suggested that still going back to the person, what's your intention of doing it? Tingin na tama to or mali?
Question. That's his livelihood, tama?
No.
That's not how it...
Not
entirely?
Not entirely.
Ikaw, Von, what do you think of that?
Well, tama naman yung, based on the story ni Scott, I would agree on that. It goes back to the intention on how you perceive things. Kasi basically, what's your goal? Why would you want to push through with that project? Is your intention good? Kung wala ka namang desire of anything, if there's something na magko-complicate doon, which is, for example, may urges ka, then doon ko mapapaisip. But if none, di ba, parang it's an extra income, why not? Think of parang i-weigh in sana muna ng person, and eventually if he thinks that he's clean and he thinks na parang wala namang problem getting into that project and this is, it's an opportunity, why not? That's how I see it.
I think what's good with my friend is na sinabi niya na, I mean, he's aware of ano possible consequences. Because as a Buddhist, I mean, the perspective of a Buddhist, I believe most of us will have the same, is we believe in the cause and effect, cause, condition, and effect. So before that offer pa lang, ang iniisip niya kagad, yung effect ng gagawin niya. Ang iniisip niya, what are the possible consequences na hindi niya na-foresee? I think that is what's more important in whatever decision we make. We ask people, ano bang consequences na to? Kasi ito lang nakikita ko eh. I'm probably blinded by a lot of things. What's your opinion? What are the mangyayari sa akin if I did this, did that? So, I think one good thing na nakatulong sa kanya is having that kind of perspective. That's why he asked, he get opinion. And huli sabi niya, okay, I got it. I know what to do.
Livelihood, you have to be skillful about it. So you can have like a deeper understanding of your intentions, of the restrictions, of the limitations of your life. So sometimes, people don't have choices. They have to make the best out of the situation which they are faced with. So that's the
Exactly.
practicality of our lives, diba? So even sabi ko nga kay Bon when we discuss about this is even farmers in the process can kill or can harm sentient beings of in the process of farming ganyan because of the pesticides and all of those stuff. So for me the idea of having a right livelihood is to minimize the impact of the destruction.
I'll share my story. And I was working in a pogo industry. And of course, the gambling industry is not a very, kumaga, right livelihood. Kasi you know what's happening at the back. That there are people losing money, aren't able to pay their bills. Now, a few years ago, I was always thinking, tama ba ginagawa ko? And then I realized that probably for now, titiisin ko muna. Because I'm studying, I need to pay for the bills, I need to do a lot of things. So maybe for the meantime. So last December, I had the opportunity to shift out. So parang nangyari na, okay, now the conditions are there, meron na akong ibang livelihood, then good. So I think still there is a difference na if you set your mind at the start pa lang compared sa wala lahat.
I think one of the guiding thought in in the topic of right livelihood, no, is when you think about whatever livelihood that we are trying to enter. I mean, maybe it's also good to think about how does it support my current journey towards, I guess, enlightenment. We can say that. How does that support my journey towards my ultimate goal, which is to be happy? I think that's one of the things that we can also ponder upon when we deal with the right livelihood. Going back to the discussion on your friend Scott, uh, I think the mere fact that he has that kind of awareness and discomfort towards the kind of livelihood that he has right now, and the kind of awareness is already a step towards being guided to that. Ano bang matutulong nito? Will it support my journey towards Buddhism now that I've taken the path, the 5 precepts? And I think that's still a good sign for him.
And then we can't blame. Kumbaga, if you're not in the perfect conditions, it's okay. Diba? It's just part of our life kung saan tayo pinanganak, part of the conditions where we are. So we still start from where we are and we move forwards, slowly creating the conditions or the ideal conditions. I don't think there's an ideal condition. Diba? Master Yoli shared this quote. Sabi niya, from a venerable, I thought I'm liberating the sentient beings. Liberating, or in layman's term, helping the sentient beings get awakened or have realizations. But I realized at the end that it was these people around me who are actually helping me to become enlightened. Whatever conditions we have, it's the ideal condition that we can start from.
We cannot choose what we really want in terms of profession. I'll be honest, like ako, when I studied in college, I was dreaming of becoming something like this. Na in the end, were I able to attain it? Parang hindi naman, diba? We will be put in a place wherein there's more purpose, there's a reason behind it. So the way I look at right livelihood, there are a lot of ito yung proper or tama, pero parang, di ba, causes and conditions. It will always play a role. So, the way I see it is make a use of the time that you're there in your profession right now. And, di ba, i-gather mo yung natututunan mo doon kasi skill naman yung pinag-uusapan natin. But then, if you have a choice, like what Scott did, then move to another profession, I think it will be better for you.
I think though for our viewers who are asking, so how can I know if it's a right livelihood? Actually, if we just use the 5 precepts, we can already assess if it's a right livelihood.
Other than the 5 precepts, so that's your positive checklist. You should also ask yourself, am I contributing to the society? Am I making something out of the livelihood that I'm treasuring? Because sometimes it's not just about the money, the efficiency, but it has to bring harmony within yourself and also to the people around you. So not everything is about financial prosperity. You have also mental and spiritual prosperity that you have to keep in mind with whatever work that you do, livelihood that you are in. This extra effort that you do to be diligent on your work and to break away from your old habits that is causing you harm, or you're contributing to unwholesome deeds. So I think we have to have that in our mind, that our life is not only for us, but it's also for other people.
So,
Yeah, I think I would agree on that. I just realized now, no, na maybe that's one of the reasons why most of, like we call it the millennials, no, na we are looking for a sense of purpose, especially whenever we look for a job. I think most of the people nowadays, I believe during the time of my mom, whatever you're given with, make use of it. You earn money, save money, so that you can, build a better life and build for your future. Pero parang I think nowadays students or the young generation like us, I would still consider na parang we're looking for a sense of purpose, diba? Parang we have the tendency to not to really like stick with our job for longer. And I think most of the people in the HR are having problems with that kasi not everyone wanted to stay in the same in the same kind of work. So I think it's really important now that we have to consider the sense of purpose whenever we look for a job or whenever we are in that job. Are we enjoying it? Is it something that we're really looking forward in the future? Now we're gonna stay. So that's also one of the things that I'd like to consider whenever you're looking for a job or you're currently on your job right now. So
Sige, let's try to relate it to what is happening now, no? Nina, I was in a very interesting webinar. So sinabi niya, meron daw 3 stages ngayon ang isang tao. Meron daw parang nasa fear zone, ganyan. When you get anxiety, when you get, all of those panic. The next is when you have time to quiet your mind and you become mindful. And it's a training, now that we are all, syempre, during the beginning of ECQ, nagsa-self-isolate tayo, wherein, alam mo na, naka-lockdown, so nasa bahay lang tayo. So, some of the people, including me, tried to take that time, not to be idle, but to rethink and to rekindle with my purpose. Or why am I still doing this? Kasi maka-question mo yun during this time. Lalabas yan lahat. You're in that zone wherein you assess what you're learning so far with yourself, ganyan. So yan yung mga tatanungin mo. What are the things that I can give up? Syempre, yung mga things that I cannot control. That's when you start assessing it. I can give up the things that I cannot control in the situation, but I will do the things that I can. I will do the best that I can on the things that I can control it. And then later on, after that parang learning zone, when you try to be mindful, to use that time that you have during the ECQ or during your lockdown or self-isolation even, to go back and listen to yourself more, we found out na majority ng mga tao ngayon are now in the growth zone. When you start thinking about yourself, you rekindle with your purpose, and then in the growth zone, mag-a-arrive ka sa stage na, what can I do for other people? How can I be a light to other people? So how can I help them? How can I ease their pain at the situation, knowing that I know and I've experienced what they have been through.
I'd like to add on to what Krizel said. Most of the companies that I've seen from my from the Facebook feed that I have, parang they're shifting. How can I contribute more? But at the same time, how can I not taking advantage of others? But parang at the same time, there's growth within the business that they're having. So people are more concerned about how we can help each other nowadays, especially that we're still not done yet, diba?
This past 3 months, na a lot of us are stuck in the house, it was the time for us to be reflective of our actions, of our own health. We had the time to look into our deeper self and explore our inner capacity. The 3 months really gave us a space from the material stuff to what is really important right in front of us.
Speaking about effort, we now are clear kumbaga, what is right livelihood. So what is effort? What do you mean by right effort?
So basically, what it means is that we are moving to the direction of the truth, with courage, with diligence. So right effort is our intentions to break away from those unwholesome habits that we had in the past, and unwholesome idea that we are always right. So again, this eightfold path, this is the thing that makes us question our life choices. It makes us rethink that we are not always right, di ba? So this right effort is really that diligence to understand what we are going through, what were our habits before, that we are willing to break out from it and build a better life.
Kasi they say, those who are interested in Buddhist psychology can read more. But most of our reactions that we do are already connected for the past 10 to 20 years of our lives. And those are the habits that come out. Now, we need to put the right amount of effort to slowly refix the bad habits that we make.
You know how it was explained to me? So in Eightfold Path, it was divided into three categories for better understanding. The first three, speech, thought, ano yung isa? Action ba yan? Basta yung top three na unang binanggit ni Siddhartha, basically that falls under ethical conduct. So what it means is how you deal with daily living with people, environment, situation, among others. The second category deals about mental discipline. So that comes with your right effort, the basic, yung tatlo na next nating pag-uusapan. So effort, mindfulness, and meditative concentration. That falls under mental discipline. So in totality, those three is your guide to discipline your thoughts on a daily basis or the way you practice it. So that's why si mental effort na punta doon kasi ito yung sinasabi na sakto lang, wag sobra, wag kulang. Sige, i-relate natin sa day-to-day living. So ngayon, ECQ, gusto mong magpaka-healthy. Ito na yung time na yon. When you say healthy, yung saktong healthy not only physically, but spiritually and mentally healthy. When you strive to practice, to become healthy in those aspects that you think you lack health, that already constitutes right effort. So for example, you want to stay healthy, you diet, you exercise, you meditate, you yoga, constitutes right effort for you to achieve that kind of mental discipline. It's really, creating a routine that's healthy for you, the right routine for you, the right effort in everything. And I'm guilty of not having a routine. But, we're all learning. And that's one of the things that I've sort of succeeded on during the ECQ, to maintain a routine. So yun yung just so we can put that into perspective when we talk about Eightfold Path, part of parang your guide towards achieving wisdom. Mukha siyang stages pero pwede naman siyang sabay-sabay.
I remember a while ago you mentioned about the webinar thing that you attended to, and you were talking about these people na what happened to them during the pandemic. So my question is, did they ever say now there's a lot of people changing their lifestyle now?
There are a lot of people who change their lifestyle because, we have to adapt, and that's the key to survive, adaptability. And we're not here to survive, we're here to thrive, sabi nga nila. How do you thrive in a situation that's very difficult? But really, ang pinaka-thought ng particular webinar na yun is to learn to live in the now. Yun yung pinaka-thought nun. Kasi you never know what will happen the next 2 months, 3 months. So you have to learn to live in the now. But you know what? For better or for worse, the energy is too low. And, podcasts like this, webinars like that, is very, very helpful. Parang mental health topics is very, very crucial right now. Wala masyadong nakaisip ng ganitong konsepto na, kailangan ko din palang maging malusog or matatag mentally. So, and that's why I think, these kinds of podcast topics, sharing is very important right now.
Answering your question regarding yung shift, tama ba?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually there is. There is one economist who mentioned about sunshine industry, and top 5 na industry is more on change of lifestyle. So, nandoon si health, anything about health, and yung mga Nike, yung mga ganung brands, they're shifting to fitness. Also, now they're not selling the brand, they're selling the fitness. So if you use these shoes, it will improve your fitness. So like vitamins, anything about your health, your fitness, physical, mental. Now mindfulness is on the rise also. It's part of the sunshine industry. Yung mga mental formations, it's important kasi yung isolation, they don't see it na within our it will not only be our Philippines, no, our country. So there are side effects to this. pandemic. And one of the side effects is also yung good thing na people are now focused on what's the most important, which is health and education.
Yeah,
Or ironically, yung health na neglect yan noon.
Oo nga.
I
A lot of countries actually. It's a worldwide neglect di ba?
Yeah, it is. Especially now na ang daming social distancing and stuff. So imagine loneliness can be epidemic, di ba? Sense of disconnect from community, from the abstract society.
Right.
These things, it's just impossible to handle kapag, no,
Mag-isa.
you're alone. It shouldn't be like that. So you have to be mentally strong.
Yeah, I have a question about that then, no? Na since you were saying na parang a lot of us are not ready. We're not ready. We're not prepared for this side effect na yun nga yung sinasabi ni Krizel na it could be as there or I think si Frances na there's a side effect to this na yes, we are isolated. Yes, we're changing our lifestyle. But then think about this, parang yung isolation tumatagal. Hindi natin alam until when to. And how are we going to prepare ourselves na there's nothing, not so much communication. And 'di ba parang we're stuck in just TVs and 'di ba it's just not helping us because we're becoming more paranoid and reacting badly towards the news. So how can we be more mindful? Why I brought this up kasi it's still part no. I mean we're still talking about the right to way to meditate and right to concentration. So I think that leads to us understanding na we understand that there should be a proper livelihood. Now, paano yung I'm changing my lifestyle, hindi lang naman health benefit na food, di ba? Paano yung mental state ko, kailangan ko yan eh. Kailangan ng bawat isa sa atin yun, di ba?
I think dito papasok yung favorite hobby mo, Von, which is meditation. In meditation, it settles your mind, it settles your body. So it gives you a clear view on what you want to achieve, what you want to happen, at least for a day.
Yeah, I'd like to ponder more about what should you think for those people na who doesn't understand or not aware of what meditation is. Kasi let's also consider that there are a lot of people who, are kind of like shallow when it comes to meditation. When you say meditation, I'll just, close my eyes, think about, they will keep, kasi remember, there are some people na hindi maintindihan properly how to properly meditate. Kasi if you do not properly meditate, mag-overthink ka na mag-overthink. So,
there are many ways, many meditation forms that are readily available in the public. You have your body scanning, you have your breathing meditation, you have your Vairocana meditation, which is the temple meditation. You even have meditation with your eyes open. Alam mo yon, anything that any point that you can try to focus on and particular thought siguro.
Instead of answering how to meditate, because there are tons of ways, let's give the reason why we need to meditate. Why? The why. So for me, why we need to meditate? Because number one, it improves our focus. Francis also mentioned it clears our mind. What do we mean by clear? It doesn't mean that we're not thinking of anything, but be more, parang we will be able to get out of the usual and makapag-observe tayo. To be able to see things in different perspective, get detached from what's running through your mind. And slowly, if you're able to focus on it, then it will have a lot of benefits. I think we discussed that on another topic. But we mentioned we have the right livelihood. Okay, we mentioned right effort, meaning to improve ourselves every day, to make sure that in everything we do, we try at least a bit to correct our habits to attain that goal of peacefulness. Right mindfulness is trying to see ano ba ginagawa ko? What am I doing? What are my thoughts? Am I doing this in the right way or wrong way? That's being mindful. And lastly, right concentration is, do we have the right focus on what we're doing? If you have this goal of doing it, can we concentrate on our goal? I think that's one of the easiest way to understand right meditative concentration. So that's the last part of the Eightfold Path.
I learned so much about the Eightfold Path. Tama ba? So yeah, I have learned so much about the Eightfold Path because I think the last version of, or this part to actually summarize everything, no? So, I've learned so much, especially in relation to what's happening now, no? Sobrang effective lahat nung walong diniscuss natin, especially we're so much affected with what's happening outside. So I believe that it's very important that there's wisdom within you to understand your situation right now. And I believe this will help a lot of our listeners. Kasi for sure, some of them might, doesn't have anything to do and they just wanted to listen. And how can they improve themselves by, listening to wonderful topics or discussions like this.
Wait lang, last episode na ba to?
Yeah.
The Eightfold. Okay.
Last episode ba? Or last?
For Eightfold Path.
Or Eightfold
Yeah.
Path.
Yeah, for the Eightfold Path, yeah.
Oo. Okay, sige. I guess the practice on, the practice of when you're starting to practice Buddhism, it's always nice to go back to this, to the Eightfold Path, to the 5 precepts. So basically, it's your guide on your attainment of happiness, I guess. And for me, ang key takeaways dito is that one, you try to live in the now because you appreciate it more. Two is you try to become ito, favorite ko talaga tong part na to lagi. Yung sinasabi nila, Shifu, na you become a lotus in the midst of, in the puddle of mud. No? And that relates to yung right livelihood mo, your passion, really. How do you now become a lotus to everyone, not only, being beautiful in the pile of mud, but really you being a hope, giving hope to people na despite all of these things that's happening, treating this whole crisis as a puddle of mud. How do you now shine or rise up to those challenges? Of course, anchored to your understanding, to your knowledge, whichever level you may be at right now toward Buddhism. So, and then lastly, it's most effective to observe your thoughts early on. If you're trying to create a routine of meditating, mas maigi na umaga pa lang pagising mo, you try to write down. If you cannot remember all of your thoughts, try to write it down. May it be the negative thoughts or yung mga wasteful thoughts and the good thought. Try to write it all down. It's something, hindi siya cheesy, hindi siya charming, but it's a process that you can get right onto, when you're trying to meditate. And again, I'm promoting meditation in any way. Yoga is also a form of meditation. But basically, when I try to meditate and when I try to digest all of the teachings, try to digest. To me, meditation is not clearing your mind. Okay, it's training your mind to observe your thoughts, your feelings, perception. Yan. Trying to observe it and not react from it, but trying to understand it more. So when you try to practice all of this, you will, immediate one is you will really try to be able to avoid confrontation, arguments in work, in your daily, in your family, within your friends. So I guess we have to take this time, this break, the break we thought we never needed. Really look into our own self.
Lastly, kumbaga, again, the goal of the Eightfold Path is for us to attain peace and wisdom and enlightenment. These are just the suggestions of the Buddha in Gautama after he got enlightened. You can train yourself, have a mind, have a better muscle to conquer. And then you will slowly attain your peace, you will slowly have more wisdom, and eventually your enlightenment. That's it.
Thank you for our guests tonight, or guest for this podcast. So that ends for, anong episode na to? I'm lost with the episodes. Ang dami na eh. 6?
Probably.
Probably 6
Oh,
episodes.
yeah, 6. Yeah, I think 6.
So thank you everyone, guys. So good night.
Uy, wala ba tayong kanta? Dahil
Have a daily dose of the Mantou podcast. Next time si Krizel B ang kakanta para sa atin.
So hintayin, abangan at susunod at ano ba, nakaraan. So bye guys.
there is suffering in the world.
If you want,
There has been and there will always be. If you gusto nyo marinig yung beautiful song.
goodbye.
Bye!
Bye,
Bye.
Ayaw niya na.
bye everything.
Uy, wala tayong thumbnail. Thumbnail picture.